worthless liberal who are just mad that your entire life is based on a lie and based on failure. You liberals have never achieved in your life. Judge Marchand is a piece of who should never have overseen anything. He's a worthless mother. He's a communist hack. He's nothing more than a Joseph Stalin Soviet-style piece of Stormy Daniels is a literal porn star, a woman whose only claim to fame is taking. That is the woman that this whole trial is based around, a porn star. America as you know it is dead. America as you know it no longer exists. The Constitution, the Bill of Rights, all of that, gone. Stolen by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, two worthless communist hacks. Don't even think about ever changing your vote for Donald Trump because some fake kangaroo scam court indicted him on some fake kangaroo scam trials. This is the day America, the United States of America, whatever the you want to call it, has died forever.
I don't think Trump supporters are taking the news of his conviction very well. This guy is the product of MAGA world's intense and angry propaganda campaign to successfully turn him into an enemy of America, only loyal to Trump. Watch, he'll prove it.
And what will rise above, what will come back is Donald Trump. And God, is he going to come with a vengeance now. All of you liberal better pack up, go to Canada, go somewhere, because it is not going to be pretty when Trump retakes the White House and ends forever everything that you hold near and dear to your heart. The liberal agenda will be dead. There will be no more of this compromise. There will be no more of let's come together and really, really, really try to make everything okay. No. You. After what you've done to Donald Trump, you. This is our country now, not yours. Pack it up, bitches.
I'm not even convinced that these types of guys are actually upset over Trump becoming the first former president to become a felon. They've been preaching about kicking political opponents out of the country for years. They've been daydreaming about a Trump revenge tour over him being criticized for screwing things up and using the presidency for his own political gain. The anger and calls for more un-American actions spread from his common minions like that guy to his more powerful ones.
Do you think that the Supreme Court has a duty to step in since this will impact, the election? I know we want to act like he's just a normal guy, but he's a leading presidential candidate. The voters should know what's going to happen here. So what do you see playing out in the legal system?
Well, there's a lot of developments yet to come, but I do believe the Supreme Court should step in. Obviously, this is totally unprecedented, and it's dangerous to our system. I mean, we've all discussed this before, and you all talk about it all the time. This is diminishing the American people's faith in our system of justice itself. And to maintain a republic, you have to have that. People have to believe that justice is fair, that there's equal justice under law. They don't see that right now. And I think that the justices on the court, I know many of them personally, I think they're deeply concerned about that as we are. So I think they'll set this straight, but it's going to take a while. You're right. The process takes a while to play out. The Democrats know that, of course, and they're dragging it out. That was the whole objective. They want to try to bankrupt Donald Trump. They want to diminish his credibility and go after his character. They wanted to keep him off the campaign trail, which they were successful in doing for many weeks. And now they want to call him the convicted felon.
The Speaker of the House openly called for the Supreme Court to step in and get involved because the judicial system is so upside down. They know that they can only please him if they copy his fascist anger.
Joe Biden came out with this statement immediately right after the announcement. And I'm Biden-Harris campaign statement on today's verdict. In New York today, we saw that no one is above the law. Donald Trump has always mistakenly believed he would never face consequences for breaking the law for his own personal gain. But today's verdict does not change the fact that the American people face a simple reality. There's still only one way to keep Donald Trump out of the Oval Office at the ballot box. Convicted felon or not, Trump will be the Republican nominee for president. Any question, Lee, that this whole thing, this whole trial was political and not legal when you read something like that just minutes after the conviction?
Listen, bleep me out if you have to, but that's bullshit. I mean, the reality is that there is no greater threat against democracy than having Joe Biden and his allies trying to lock President Trump in prison for the rest of his life. And I think that a lot of your viewers right now who are watching at home are all screaming and cursing with things that I'm not even going to repeat here. when they hear you read that quote from President Biden.
Lee Zeldin is so mad that he prepared to drop a curse word on air so that Newsmax can bleep it out in time. These impurity tests for MAGA approval are getting comical, bro. But Tim Scott is my absolute favorite.
I can't believe the hoax, this sham, this absolute injustice justice system. D.A. Bragg and the judge should be ashamed of themselves. This isn't just ridiculous. This actually erodes the confidence that Americans have in the justice system. Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. But good news is coming. D.A. Bragg, hear me clearly. You cannot silence the American people. You cannot stop us from voting for change. Joe Biden's injustice, Joe Biden's two-tier injustice system, weaponizing the justice system of the United States of America against a political opponent, un-American. Joe Biden, you're fired. We the people stand with Donald Trump.
Unfreaking believable. This level of fake outrage to impress their felon is embarrassing. This guy is a United States senator. I wonder how many times he practiced that rant before he got it in one take. He decided to grab his phone and attempt to act like he's incensed over the verdict that even Donald Trump knew wouldn't come back in his favor. Ironically, they're acting like the judicial system worked against him the way he promised it would work against Democrats.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
Weird how they called for and happily supported his constant promises to lock her up, him up, them up, anyone that he didn't like. The expectation is that enough people will somehow be convinced that the Democratic Party hatched this entire plan to take Trump out of the race and label him a felon, all just to say he shouldn't be allowed to run. But who would pitch such a ridiculous idea like that?
She shouldn't be allowed to run. Okay, she shouldn't. And I'm not talking about what happened last Friday. I'm talking about right now. She shouldn't be allowed to run. There's virtually no doubt that FBI Director Comey and the great, great special agents of the FBI will be able to collect more than enough evidence to garner indictments against Hillary Clinton and her inner circle, despite her efforts to disparage them and to discredit them. If she were to win this election, it would create an unprecedented constitutional crisis. In that situation, we could very well have a sitting president under felony indictment and ultimately a criminal trial. It would grind government to a halt.
All you ever have to do is listen to Donald Trump and his surrogates' words. They've openly detailed their entire plan like a cartoon villain, but forgot that they said it all out loud. If you ever wonder what Trump's plans are, just listen to what he and the rest of MAGA says Democrats are going to do, right before they cheerfully announce that they'll do it.
He says that success is the best revenge, but let's say he does win re-election this November. Will there be any revenge directed at the people that put this hoax case together?
Well, certainly people need to be held accountable for the crimes that have been committed over the last several years that we've seen them lie. We've seen them abuse our justice system. We've seen Joe Biden target innocent Americans across this country, such as the protesters on January 6th, who they've thrown in the gulag in Washington, D.C. President Trump said he will pardon those protesters on day one of his presidency. Yes, justice needs to be served.
It's actually the weaponization of criminal behavior, but only if you're a MAGA criminal, like the traitors from January 6th. They figure if they've got enough people willing to support Trump's criminal activity, coupled with a Supreme Court stacked with loyalists willing to rubber stamp his claims of immunity, he can intimidate and threaten whoever he wants. So why not dive into his pool of mobster behavior where he's somehow the perpetual victim, preparing to return with violent promises of a takeover? He had this Truth Social post prepped and ready to go as soon as he was convicted, because he knew they had him busted.
This is the final battle With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state. We will expel the warmongers from our government. We will drive out the globalists. We will cast out the communists, Marxists, and fascists. We will throw off the sick political class that hates our country. We will rout the fake news media, and we will liberate America from these villains once and for all.